WISE meeting today. I'm excited to get to chair this endeavor, and I'm excited to be here. And I want to welcome our new members. We have Marvin Gillum, who is the vice chair. He knows more about WISE than pretty much anybody but Chancellor Henry, so I have lots to learn from him. We also have Daniel Brody, David Okonkwo, and Porter Wilkinson, who are our new board members that are serving on the committee at WISE. So I'd like to welcome them too. We also have today with us our new faculty consulting member, who we're going to hear from later, Karen Carter. And I have her bio, but I'll just briefly summarize. She has a PhD in occupational and technical and STEM studies from Old Dominion University, among several other illustrious degrees. She's worked in many multicultural and international positions. Presently, her teaching focuses on information systems and data analysis to provide awareness of theory, practice, and experiential learning within global systems environments. She also has some broad research interests in these areas. So we'd like to welcome her. We have one action item today, which will be presented by WISE's brand new provost, Gary Johnson, and our nursing department chair, Nancy Haugen. So I will turn it over to Chancellor Henry.
Okay, thank you so much, Chair Pillion, and I'm going to retreat to the back and let them do their presentation.
Good morning. My name is Gary Johnson, and as Chancellor Henry mentioned, I'm the new provost at UVA WISE. I started at the end of June, so I'm 2.5 months in, and it has been a wonderful transition. I was in North Carolina, Hickory, North Carolina, at Lenore-Ryan University as provost there prior to coming to WISE. And I would like to take the opportunity to thank Chancellor Henry and the entire senior leadership team for the welcome and the onboarding. It has been very smooth from my perspective, and my wife and I are thrilled to be members of the WISE community and to be at UVA WISE. I am a graduate of the University of Virginia, a BA in comparative literature many years ago. So, and then a PhD from Chapel Hill. Which we won't mention. So
you had the crowd.
I figured, yeah, you probably could have found that out if you looked. So I'll just get it out there. But always been a Who fan, and I'm looking forward to the game on Saturday. So this has really been a dream for me to get back connected with UVA. After my PhD, my mom used to always say, why don't you just go back and work at UVA? And I was like, well, it's not that easy with a comparative literature degree. But at any rate, it's been wonderful. And I'm going to introduce Nancy Haugen, who is the chair of our Department of Nursing. She's going to walk us through our proposed program. Much of the work here was done prior to my arrival, so I give all the credit to her and her team, as well as the Chancellor and the senior leadership team. So.
Thank you, Provost Johnson. Can you hear me okay? I have a hearing issue, so I always want to make sure that people can hear what's going on. First of all, Madam Chairperson, thank you for having us here. President Ryan, Vice President Baucom, and board members, I am so thrilled to be here. This journey has been a while for us. I have been at UVA WISE since March of 2021. I came in the middle of COVID. I am not a nurse practitioner, unfortunately, or whatever. I did not go to the University of Virginia. I went to the University of Florida, so we'll just get that out there and move on. But it has been a journey for us, and not being a nurse practitioner, it has been a challenge. I've taught in nurse practitioner programs. I've done things in nursing practitioner programs, but I don't have the expertise as far as the clinical practice and all of that. So it's been a great journey, and I would like to start by introducing you to Christine Mullins, who is behind me. She joined our team in June of this year. She is a doctorally prepared family nurse practitioner and has been very instrumental in helping us bring this to fruition. She's filled in the gaps that I don't have, the knowledge in relation to the curriculum that I don't have, And it's just been a pleasure to work with her. So I do want to acknowledge the work that she has done in getting this program forward. I also want to acknowledge the dean at UVA School of Nursing, Marianne Bernholt, has been extremely supportive. She came in the middle of the process and essentially said, every time I met with whatever you need, whatever we can do, please let me know, and they've been great. The other person I want to acknowledge is Shelley Smith, who is your Associate Dean for Graduate Programs. I have emailed her more times than I can tell you. She replies within 48 hours, has great recommendations, so kudos to all of you for having her. She is a phenomenal individual. And then a couple of people at WISE I want to acknowledge. First of all, the Chancellor. She has been very supportive in this process, and anything I've needed and things that I needed to work through, she has provided for me, so I greatly appreciate that. And then also Sabrina Creshu is our Associate Provost for Academic Programs. My 30-year career in academic nursing has not been in public education, and we do things differently in public education than you do in private. There's a lot more steps to do, and she is our SHEV expert, which shall remain nameless from here forward, but there's lots of ins and outs that you have to know in relation to making that happen. So I just wanted to acknowledge all of those before I got started. But our journey in this started with the strategic plan, and part of our strategic plan, we are pillar number 2 to advance graduate degrees at the University of Virginia's College at WISE, and also to maintain an engagement with our community, predominantly in the issues of health and wellness, and also support for economic growth and vitality through our academic programs. As you can see from the slide, nurse practitioners will fill a much needed gap in relation to primary care providers in our region and surrounding counties. I put on here, actually, Christine got these for me, but some of the health disparities compared to the counties surrounding Wise County with the Commonwealth of Virginia and also the United States, you can see they're pretty extensive. And we have a great need in our area, and I can say from personal experience, moving to this area, trying to find a primary care provider is extremely difficult. So I go to the UVA Health Clinic, which is run by a nurse practitioner, and I get fabulous care. So I'm grateful that it's there because it's just really difficult to find in our area. And we believe that the advanced nurse practitioner role can help provide this for our community and our surrounding counties. As every profession has their acronyms, this one is ours. As we have developed the program, we may have to make sure we have the licensure bodies, which in the Commonwealth of Virginia is the Board of Nursing, the Joint Boards of Nursing and Board of Medicine, and they've got many criteria that we have to make sure we meet. We have the accreditation body, which is ours will be the Commission on Collegiate Nursing Education. They also accredit our pre-licensure program and our RN to BSN program. There's 2 certification boards because certification is required for nurse practitioners. And then the bottom category, which is education, the American Association of Colleges of Nursing, they have written the essentials, which is our Bible, as far as what we need to do within our program. The National Task Force of Standards for Quality Nurse Practitioner Education is an organization of multiple other organizations that create standards. And then last but not least, the National Organization of Nurse Practitioner Faculties, which have a lot of regulations. So we shuffle through a lot of paper when we're doing this to make sure we're meeting everybody's requirements. Our target audience and student population is licensed BSN graduates that have a registered nursing license. The most people we will probably get are from our pre-licensure and our RN to BSN program. I have the lovely picture of the 5 regions of Virginia on there because we have students in our pre-licensure and in our RN to BSN program from all of those regions. Our goal is to improve the health of not only our region, but the Commonwealth of Virginia. So we're really focusing on individuals who are in Virginia, will stay in Virginia, and work in Virginia. Our target enrollment is approximately 8 to 10 students per year. We don't anticipate being a huge program, but certainly a vital program. We did a survey of our nursing current students and alumni. We had 100 people reply, which was pretty good. We've actually done 2 surveys. We did one in 2022 when we started this journey, and this is the most recent one from 2024. And if you look at the students who are either extremely interested or very interested in enrolling in this program at WISE or taking this program at WISE, we have 58 individuals, and if you add the ones that are somewhat interested, we're looking at 87 individuals that have already expressed an interest in this program. And just an aside, because I know you want to hear this, I was on a plane recently, and the lady I was sitting next to is a nurse practitioner. Both her and her husband went to UVA WISE. They were so excited to hear that we were doing this. She did not take nursing with us. She took education and then transitioned her career. And her husband is a poli-science degree. And we talked almost all the way from Atlanta to Tri-Cities. They were telling me how much wonderful things they experienced at the University of Virginia's College at WISE. So we really have a broad impact on our community. I also got a phone call last week out of the blue from someone that says, when are you starting your nursing MSN FNP? I want to enroll. And I was like, wait, we've got a lot of process to go through, but we'll keep you in mind. And then lastly, I teach in the Issues in Professional Nursing, our transition courses for the RN to BSN program. And one of their assignments is to, what are your goals for your nursing career? And a third of our 31 students said they wanted to go on to advanced education, get a nurse practitioner degree, whether it was CRNA or pediatric. The majority of them wanted family nurse practitioner, and one even said, I plan to enroll as soon as I finish this program at the UVA WISE MSN FNP program. And of course, I emailed her very nicely and said, we're not quite there yet, but we will certainly keep you in mind. So we definitely have a population that is interested in taking this program at WISE. This is our curricular layout. I apologize, it's kind of small, but there's a lot of classes. There's 44 credit hours and 18 courses. 18 courses. I can't say that far. We have 20 credits in the core courses. This is, a lot of those are required by our accrediting bodies. The 3 Ps that you see at the bottom are things that have to be in a advanced practice nursing program. And then on the other side of the slide are the FNP focused or concentration classes that have to be taken, so we can assure that they have the knowledge, the skills, and the abilities to appropriately care for our populations. This is going to be an online asynchronous program. We will be offering both a full-time and a part-time. I believe you got the announcement that we sent to Chev, and we use those numbers as a 60-40 ratio of full-time to part-time. But again, as you know, until they enroll and what track they take, we're just not sure how that will pan out. Prerequisites, again, is a BS degree and an unencumbered active Virginia license or a license in a compact state. This is primarily for the registered nurses because you can get licensed in multiple states through the compact license. We have a holistic admission process. Yes, we are going to look at GPA and all of that, but we want to see why they're interested in the program and are they going to be a good student. It's a rigorous program, and we want to make sure that they're going to be able to be successful before they start the program. Faculty has been a challenge for us. I'm sure all of you have been to the University of Virginia College at WISE. It is in a very rural area, and when we get applications, we have a lot of people that the first question is this UVA? Well, yes, it is, but it's not Charlottesville. It's WISE. And so when they find that out, they kind of back out a little bit because they're used to being in much larger areas, and that's fine. We have now our FNP program coordinator. There's myself. I have as I said, I went to the University of Florida for my doctorate, and I have a minor in physiology, so I can teach some of the core courses. We have 2 open funded positions. One is an endowed chair for scholarship, and one is for the Family Nurse Practitioner program, and we are currently sponsoring one of our faculty to pursue a DNP FNP. So we believe we will have enough faculty, enough for the open positions. I already have 2 applicants who are from the WISE region. So chances are, if they fit with our mission, vision, and values, I think we will be able to fully staff this program. Target cost for tuition and fees is $676 an hour, and in 2 to 3 years, we anticipate having 30 students. Yes?
That's a quick question. Is it 30 students across the in-person, or is the whole thing going to be online?
The whole thing is going to be online.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's across both full-time and part-time?
Yes, and that's in 2 to 3 years.
Right. And the compact state license,
Yes.
is that a pretty routine thing if you if you're licensed in Virginia, you would have reciprocity in other states?
The compact license is for the registered nurse. There are 35 states where if you live in Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky, various states, you can get a license that allows you to practice in all of those states that are within the compact.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's a pretty broad area.
Yes, it is. Now, the family nurse practitioner does not have that practicability. It is by state they have to have a license.
Right, but they would be eligible for this program.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
And last question, sorry. How many online nurse practitioner programs are there roughly? Are there a lot, or is this a new entry to
Yeah.
the market?
There are a lot of them. The majority of nurse practitioner programs in the Commonwealth of Virginia are online. Many of them are hybrid, and by that I mean they have to come to campus a couple times per year. I've been at fully online programs, and I've been at hybrid programs. And you know, education's a journey, so if we ascertain that students aren't getting what they need to get in a fully online asynchronous program, we will invite them to campus.
Right.
And our target audience is really our region, and so if they want to come to campus and have additional support, we're absolutely available to do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I fully applaud you for what you're doing. It's meeting the needs of the Commonwealth, and there are so many other areas. And I have to say, in full disclosure, Shelley Smith, your consultant, was my nurse practitioner for about 5 or 6 years right after she came out of school. We then lost her to UVA and VCU, so I don't know what that says about me, but she's a brilliant person, a good consultant for you to have. Also at my undergraduate institution, we have set up, just because of the demographic changes in student bodies as a Division III small liberal arts college, 2 additional programs for the first time. We actually set up a nursing program, and then we recently set up a physician assistant program. So I'm really aware of the financial implications and the cash flow models for these, and we are looking at a nurse practitioner program. Do you have, or do you need to offer, and I'll say the caveat to this, we found it to be particularly attractive, particularly for the advanced programs like a PA program and nurse practitioner, that we didn't have any significant exposure in terms of financial aid, because these were all paid by the students when they came. So there was a zero cost, other than at a certain point you have to hire professors. But at a certain point it should become a profitable entity to UVA-wise. And I hadn't seen all your financial models, but I assume you've looked at that. And then the second question, that is another layer of complexity whenever you do enter into an agreement with a nurse practitioner or a PA school, is finding those clinicians who are agreeable and willing to take those students into their offices. And to the president's component, with this thing being entirely online, what are you gonna do for those NP students to get their clinical exposure? So 2 questions. One is, I assume you've looked at a financial model. It will be a profit center for UVA-wise at some point. And then 2, what are you gonna do about clinical responsibilities?
In answer to your first question, like I said, I joined WISE in 2021. In 2022, 2023 academic year, the Commonwealth of Virginia awarded us over $800,000 to get this program up and running. And if we'd had faculty, we could have done it much sooner, but you can build it, they will come, but if you don't have faculty, you can't teach it. So we do anticipate that we will have the monies for this. We also have additional money that has been set aside for scholarships for all the graduate programs. So it'll be a competitive thing, and there are many places that will fund their staff to go back and get advanced degrees because they understand the need for family nurse practitioners. It's a great question, because the culture in Southwest Virginia is you don't go into debt for education. And a lot of these are working nurses. Some of them have been planning. The students ask me regularly, when is this gonna happen? I need to make sure I've got all my budgetary things in line. But we do have some financial aid available for these students. And then in relation to your second question, and it's a brilliant question, because with the nursing shortage, it's very difficult to find some of these things. But since we have hired Professor Mullins, and since word is getting out there that we're looking at doing this, we have had people call us and say, I'd like to precept a student, I'd like to have your student in my organization. And so that has not been an issue. The state of Franklin, which is part in Tennessee and part, it's a huge practice that's both in Tennessee and in Southwest Virginia. They have 35 offices, and they have already contacted us and say, when you're ready, we would like to have students in our facility. We also have in our advisory board a nurse practitioner, and she said, I can help you find clinical sites. But it's been amazing, the number of people that have contacted us once they heard about it to say, we are willing to host and precept your students.
That's great. And, Mr. President, fire up the jet, because just like when Chancellor Henry had her first students accepted into the guaranteed medical school program here at UVA from WISE, President Sullivan and I went down that day and had a great ceremony with pictures and exchanging of t-shirts. They weren't run with gym t-shirts, but you can bring that. But anyway, get that ready, Donna, because I want to be there.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, I'd like to add that I've had conversations with Marian Bernhold, your dean. If our students wanted to co-enroll in a doctoral program, that she said University of Virginia would certainly be willing to work with us, since they're already University of Virginia students, and we would look at that option as well, if that's something that students were interested in doing.
Madam Chair, you're competing with Mr. Payne and with Ms. Sheridan now for good, best, better, great, greatest, all that kind of stuff.
Well, I just came on board as the chair, but, so I cannot take credit, but I did want to say that is something that I've talked to several people about that I am very interested in, is how do we get our students from UVA WISE to have a faster track to admission, since they are UVA students, to doctoral programs or other programs in Charlottesville. So, we have lots of outstanding students that want to pursue more education, and, this is a quick avenue for them to do so. So I really like that idea. And then also, I would assume that some of the areas in Southwest Virginia that are having a hard time hiring nurses would be eager to have some students come in, because they might realize that they like working there, and it might, it's a trial run, so to speak. So it will give them an avenue to hire the nurse practitioners that they need and can't find.
Our current graduates, the majority of them stay in Southwest Virginia. Some venture to Charlottesville and other areas, far afield, but most of them stay within Southwest Virginia, because that's home for them, and that's really the population we want to support.
Is there a difference in licensing and practice scope and restrictions for the master versus the doctoral?
At this time, no.
That's great.
The masters are still supported by the accrediting bodies. There is, as your question alludes to, a push to move this to the doctoral level, which prompted the conversations I had with Dean Bernhold. But as of right now, no. The certification and the licensure are still approving and allowing master's degree prepared individuals to sit for the certification and receive their license.
Have you done the research on the annual income for an NP in the region you're serving as versus a nurse, what he or she would be making before they enroll in the program? So that, if you had those numbers, it would give prospective students a sense of, I'm going to invest so many thousands of dollars to become an NP, but my payback is going to be a certain period of time.
Payback is substantial. Nurse practitioners in our area can make at least $110,000, $120,000 a year, depending on their practice and who they work with. And then baccalaureate prepared and associate degree prepared make in the range of 45 to 55, maybe 60, depending on the areas in which they work.
And the cost of the degree will be how much?
Total cost will be about just over $29,000.
Well, that's a pretty good investment for these young people. Okay, thank you. I just, because I was with Jim and Wise last month, let me just say that I was really impressed with the, you had the simulator, the little operating room spaces, simulator, and so what you're doing there, encouraging young people to get involved in healthcare, is really great. And I could see people, young people, getting their degrees, and then a nursing degree, but then going on in the program and becoming an NP. And since there's such a dramatic shortage of NPs in the country, this would be a great vocational lifestyle choice, and it would serve your communities really well. So congratulations on what you're doing.
Thank you.
Chair Pillion, I think if there are no other questions, we can vote.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So Susan, do you call, we need a motion to accept Do you have a motion?
What the motions?
A motion to, pull it up. I've gotten on the wrong page.
It's on page 2 of the materials. If you have it printed.
Um, I've got it right here. So we need, whereas the Board of Visitors has reviewed the program announcement, including the workforce needs and duplication analyses provided to the State Council of Higher Education for Virginia by the University of Virginia's College at Wise for the proposed Master of Science in Nursing Family Nurse Practitioner program. Resolved, the Board of Visitors approves the Master of Science in Nursing Family Nurse Practitioner program at the College at Wise and supports the program announcement, including the workforce needs and duplication analysis provided to Chev.
Second.
Okay, motion, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so,
All in favor?
all
say
in
aye.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
I didn't know if we needed to do a roll call or just that.
No, we don't.
Okay, the motion passes. Wonderful. I think this is a very exciting thing for our region.
Thank you. And thank you for your support. So the next stage is that will be advanced to the Chev Council for review and approval. So we will keep you updated as that moves forward. And I am going to give you a quick enrollment update. I think you've seen the numbers in your board book. Things are looking great for our second year of enrollment at UVA Wise. The numbers that you had were from early August. We do get some shifts. One thing we've noted this year is with the FAFSA rollout, we are still working with students who think they may not have financial aid to let them know they have financial aid. So we've lost some enrollments, but we're trying to bring them back. But we're at 1280. I think the report you had 1287. We had actually gone up to over 1300. So we are still working with those students to make sure that they understand their financial aid. But as you can see, the trajectory from 2022 to 2024 for degree-seeking students at the college is going in the right direction. So we're very excited about that. This slide is our undergraduate FTE, or full-time equivalent, which is a number. So we have part-time students enrolled along with full-time students enrolled. This is the number of students who are at UVA Wise enrolling in at 15 credit hours. So if we just took the credit hour number, and again, the trajectory is moving in the right direction. So we're over 1,500 full-time equivalents of students at the college. And then this slide is our new students. So it's first-time freshmen, first-time transfers, and year-in-Wise students. And we have 534 compared to 493 last fall. The board is typically interested. The year-in-Wise students are those who are put on the wait list at UVA. They're then admitted to the college at Wise. If they get pulled off the wait list, they can decide to come to UVA. If not, they can elect to spend 1 year at Wise. They have to take a minimum of 30 credit hours and get a 3.0 GPA. And then in the spring semester, if they want to, they can elect to come to Grounds and finish their degree in Charlottesville. This is a program geared toward the College of Arts and Sciences. This is our 6th year of the program. We started this right after President Ryan joined UVA. This year we have 103 students enrolled in the program. We'd had about 75 for the past 3 years. So 100 has been our target all along. We thought we could enroll 100 students. At one point we had 160 who said they were going to come. But as we know, these students have a lot of options if they're on the wait list at UVA, so many of them select other places, but we're above our target. We actually enrolled 105, and on the first week of classes, 2 said they're gonna stay at Wise. So that was good news for us, and hopefully we'll keep a few more along the way, but we will have a nice group of students planning to come back to Charlottesville, I'm certain, in the spring. And this is our first-time freshmen, first-time transfer. So these are the native students who are at Wise. You can see that number has continued to climb from last year, and last year was a robust jump from 2022. And then this is our total undergraduate enrollment. You can see the top bar is both, so that's total head count. The blue bar is degree seeking. The black, I think it's black, is non-degree seeking. So that most of those students are in our CTE program, our Center for Teaching Excellence. They're teachers from around the Commonwealth of Virginia who enroll in online classes to maintain certification or to get certification for teaching. We have agreements with school districts across the Commonwealth. So you can see that number was in the 900s before the dips of COVID. So it's back up there again. So that's a strong number along with our total undergraduate enrollment. And fall to fall retention numbers, we dipped a little bit from last year, but retention and progress to degree are some things that we're very focused on right now, ensuring that our students who come to WISE have the support that they need and can be successful. And so this is something that Gary has some really good ideas and is going to shape within our academic programs to ensure that our students, our hope is to get to an 80% retention rate. That's our target. And something that we will continue to work on, but it's much improved from that dip that we had during COVID. And then the only other good information is you heard about some new graduate programs. As you know, we enrolled our first students in the Master of Education degree program last year. We graduated 14, we enrolled 24 last year, graduated 14 in the summer, and we now have 40 students enrolled in that Master's of Education degree program for this year. So we're very excited about that graduate enrollment, which really just enhances the work that we're doing. So, so those are all good things. So, yes.
Madam Chancellor, this is a question maybe for the provost and perhaps the president and maybe Mr. Kennedy. What programs do we have currently, or have we ever considered having programs where we have visiting professors or a professorial exchange from UVA WISE coming here, teaching classes, and professors from here going to UVA WISE and teaching classes? And would that be a novel benefit? Would it be a concept? Would it be a benefit? Would it be totally undoable, or have we ever explored it?
So we have, and as a matter of fact, a few years ago, we actually borrowed a faculty member from the McIntyre School who served in an interim department chair role for our business program, department chair of business, for a couple of years. So, so there is a model in place, and it really, for that to happen, it was just an agreement between the dean and the provost, and we worked those things out to borrow someone. We actually paid some of the salary so that we could have them at WISE and work. So I think there are possibilities. The rector has actually offered to teach some classes in our business program, so we have some possibilities there as well. So, you know, I think there are some ways that we can work. And next week, I was going to announce, Provost Ian Baucom is coming with several deans. They're bringing a plane, and I think cars are coming in the night before. So on September the 19th, we will have a full day where Gary Johnson, our provost, has arranged a schedule of activities for collaboration, conversations about how we can do more of that between UVA and UVA WISE.
And just in advance, thank you for hosting us. The deans are very interested in extending and deepening partnerships with colleagues at WISE, and we're looking forward to that. So there are 5 or 6 of the deans who are going down. I've asked all of the deans to be sure that during their time as dean and as early as possible, that they make a personal visit. And so this is, a number of them already have, but this is the first time I've been able to go with a group of them. And then there are also potential research partnerships that we've been talking about, both in terms of brain science, youth mental health work that we're doing, some of the work from our Environment Institute, which is looking at how to think about the long-term impacts of climate change on various parts of the world, and particularly for Southwest Virginia and other regions, thinking about what a post-coal economy looks like. And so we're looking both at sort of in terms of research partnerships between our faculty, graduate students, students at WISE, and I'm very open to those exchanges as the deans might be. But again, thank you, we're really looking forward to the visit.
And the last question I had, Jim, is UVA WISE faculty students, are they eligible to participate in the University of Virginia Charlottesville SIF program, or are they just two totally
Yeah, so SIF funds are available for matching funds for scholarships and professorships.
UVA was.
You just stole my thunder. That's what I was gonna go to next. Not you.
You know what? You should ask Donna that question.
Steve, the one other thing we identified in some of those research areas where there are common research interests, and particularly in terms of brain science, mental health, and thinking about sort of environment, where we had some overlapping research interests, we're partnering with a kind of a small portion of those funds to do some collaborative research together.
Thank you. Sorry, Don.
No, that's quite all right. It's always nice to get something that is an intro to what I wanted to talk about. So I wanted to give you an update on our Honor the Future campaign. So we set a pretty audacious goal of raising $100 million in our campaign at WISE. I'm happy to say that as of July 31st, we were at 83 million. And that's growing. But part of that campaign, and the most exciting part of our campaign, has been the impact of the bicentennial scholarships. So at WISE, we've established 88 bicentennial scholarships with gifts and pledges that have totaled 23 million, with SIF matches of almost $20 million. That has had a huge impact on our campaign. So that's $57 million total. We currently have 5 additional bicentennial funds that are currently being created. Valerie Lawson told me to let Mark Llewellyn know to save some of the matching funds for us because the gifts are coming in. So it's another $7.5 million will be coming in this fall, which will have a $7.5 million match. So with all of that and the current pledges that we have, if they were all in right now, and I'm giving you a preview of something that we'll be talking about at the next board meeting, we're gonna be within about $4 million of achieving our goal. And so hopefully we can announce that in December. So we're very excited about that. We're very excited about the philanthropy. And I can attest to the fact that being able to talk to donors about the match has really helped us. Our typical scholarship, you could endow a scholarship before this campaign for $10,000, and now the entry has moved to the $50,000 goal because that gets a half match. And so instead of bringing in 10,000, we're bringing in 50, or we're bringing in 500,000 or $1 million. And so it really has been instrumental for us and for our students. Having those funds, scholarship funds, are incredibly important. The total endowment at WISE right now is $166 million. So for a school our size, about 80% of those funds are in scholarships. So that's critical for us to serve the needs of our students. And as a matter of fact, this week we just announced that students who come from families who make $80,000 or less, we guarantee that all of tuition and fees will be paid. That's important for students from Southwest Virginia and Appalachia so that we can recruit them and bring them to college and have them be successful. That's very exciting. Are there any questions about that? And then just finally, in student life, as you can imagine, with the number of students on campus, our housing is full right now. As a matter of fact, my housing director tells me our housing is over full right now. We do have some triples that should have been doubles, and we had some quads that should have been triples. We're actually working with a local developer who's building some apartments for us adjacent to campus, so that we can actually have some capacity. They will be ready in the spring semester, so that will help us for the fall. Currently we're housing 606 students in housing on campus. Last year it was 540. And at that time, my director told me that we were at capacity. So I don't know where we put all the extra students, but we found places to get them in housing. I know we moved some people around to open up some dorm space that had been used for other purposes. But that is something, our campus master plan is up for review. It's been 10 years, so we'll be working on that this year. And housing on campus is something that we're going to look at because our goal is to continue the growth and to bring in about 500 new students a year, which will grow the overall population. So we will need some additional housing to accommodate all of those students. So it's an exciting time to be at UVA Wise. And now I'm going to turn the program over, so, unless there are any questions, so that you can hear from Karen Carter. Okay.
Guess this is me. Well, I just want to thank Chancellor Henry for the opportunity to be here and thank the board for having a seat at the table, literally, and to bring our kudos and things that we're doing at UVA Wise. We're doing thank you. We're doing a lot of exciting things and so forth. So first of all, we're finishing up a track 1 STEM, and that's the scholarship STEM that's coming, that came 5 years ago. We're finishing up, it'll be 5 years in the spring. That's allowed a little over 30 students to continue their STEM programs, and so Dr. Tegan Mackerel has taken over that. Our lead professor that was in charge of that, Josephine Rodriguez, accepted a position at NSF. She did such a great job on writing the proposal. NSF said, we want you to come work with us.
She's not leaving.
So,
It's only a 2-year appointment. Marvin said, is she leaving?
No. She just gets to go temporarily. And so Dr. Tegan stepped up and took over for Josephine. And so, yes, no, we get her back. Thank
Okay,
goodness.
good.
So, no, definitely, we need to keep Josephine. And so, Dr. Tegan published a paper with Abigail Edwards she was the first author, and then with Landon Elkins. He was a former recipient of the Chancellor's Medal of Education, and so their paper was published in the Journal of the Dalton Transactions, which is the UK equivalent of the American Chemical Society. So I'm having to read this because it's a little area outside of my purview with information systems. So Abigail and Dr. McCall just returned from the national meeting in the American Chemical Society in Denver, where they both presented developments of their research. And Abigail has started in UVA Wise Laboratory 2 years ago, and she is finishing up this spring as a STEM and has been accepted into graduate school. But she has her pick of where she's going to go, and it's either going to, I believe she said she's leaning, UT, but maybe we can still transfer her up here to UVA, let's hope. And then Josephine has kind of handed off some things to me. She was working on a track 3 proposal, and so when she left, I've kind of stepped up as I'm a co-PI with that. So we're working with Southeast Kentucky Community and Technical College to continue with hopefully the proposal will be a track 3 $5 million grant for 5 years that help students to investigate STEM studies, to come to us. So we're really going to focus on the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. So we're working with the dual enrollment coordinators with Mountain Empire Community College in Southeast, and trying to say, hey, you can do this, instead of going, do I have to take math? It's hard. No, yes, you have to take math, but it's not hard. It may be difficult, but we want to, like someone said last night, we want to provide equitable opportunities to come and be a part of a program that they can be involved in and see them being progressive in a STEM, much like the nursing program, and to bring value back to our region with economic development and workforce development. So we're hoping that'll get submitted in the spring, so fingers crossed that we get that. We have really good kudos coming back from that. Dr. John Mark Adrian is one of our experiential learning. We have a lot of things going on. That is our second pillar. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Experiential learning, so we're doing a lot with that with community service. So he just headed off last Friday with 9 students. He is in Canterbury, which is with our sister school, the Canterbury Christian Church, and they'll be there from mid-September to the middle of December. They take 1 course with him, and they take 4 courses with the college there, and experience life in a different region. A different culture. So a lot of times I know, being from Jonesville, Virginia originally, so I'm from Southwest Virginia, I'm right there at the Cumberland Gap Mountain. I'm 20 miles from the state line. So that was always a hard thing to leave the area. And so when we can get Southwest Virginia students excited about going overseas and finding out other cultures, and some of these kids have never even spent the night away from home. And so having an opportunity to fly, go through customs, things that we kind of, you're talking about taking an airplane, things that you do, I'm going to go do this. And so he has done this for the last couple of years. So it's an exciting time, bless you, exciting time for everyone. We have Dr. Heather Evans, she's our Director of Experiential Learning. She's doing a lot right now. Of course, this is a big voting year, so she's doing a lot of activities to get out to vote, teaching students about civic learning, getting them registered, involving students in every day. They're doing things on our lawn to engage students. It's amazing when I'm in class, I'm like, did you guys watch the news last night? No. If it's not on TikTok or Twitter, it's like, okay, let me inform you. These are things you need to know about. So trying to make sure that they know about these things. And then we have something that's near and dear to my heart is Kids Day and STEMH Day. It's coming up at the end of October. So we work with AEP, is one of our local power companies. They help us sponsor it, but we do, this year we have 6th graders from Lee, Scott, City of Norton, and they come on and spend a day on campus with us at the Pryor Center. We have we're expecting about 600 6th graders, so you can imagine when you guys come down to see the Pryor Center, it will be alive with 6th graders. We have 41 workshops. We do things like suturing a banana. The kids suit up. Yes, it's a little scary. The first time they told me they were going to do this, I'm like, you're going to do what with these kids? They're going to do what with this banana? So, but they are exciting. It's one of the best things that they do. We also dissect owl poop. That's always a classic, one of the top ones. So they get to pick apart owl poop. And yes, one of our guys brings us in, so they do glove up. We make binary bracelets. They blow up pumpkins to see physics development. We do cave dwelling. We do duck herding. They do everything that you can think about with a STEMH. We usually have a workshop to show these kids, and they get to spend about 30 minutes in at least 4 workshops. And so we rotate the different counties every year. So next year we'll do Wise County, Dickinson County, and Jenkins. We do serve Jenkins County, which they sit on our border. So this is something we've been doing for about 8 years. And so it's one of our areas that's near and dear to our heart. And thank you for listening. And so we're doing great things, and we want to keep doing that, and we appreciate your all support. And thank you for letting us be here.
And my favorite thing about the STEM Day is when you walk around and see all of the children there, they'll look at me and they'll say, can I go to school here? And it's like, yes, you can go to school here. So.
That's always one of my favorite stories that the Chancellor has shared with me, and I share that every year. And that I can remember the first time that I walked onto the Pryor Center, and when you're looking at all the lights at the basketball arena, it just seems so huge and so big. And so it's like, wow, you mean I can really come here? And so I remember that little girl.
Yeah.
So she's always paramount on my mind. So thank you.
Thank you, Chair Pillion. I think with that, we will wrap up.
Well, before you wrap up.
Okay.
You tell them about the Apple program.
Okay. Do we have the video?
Yeah, you want to play, we're ready.
Okay, let's do
I was gonna say, I thought we had a video.
We do have a video. Another perfect timed question.
UVA Wise, where we stand at the crossroads of tradition and innovation to reimagine the way we think about equity, education, and excellence. Through our Innovate initiative, we're pushing the digital envelope, inspiring our students through the use of technology, and charting our course to success amidst the beauty of the Appalachian Mountains.
The iPad allows me to cast the net wide when assessing student progress. What I receive in return are incredibly creative projects that showcase each student's passion for learning.
Making this change in the classroom required a shift. We went from normal rows and columns to tables and groups. Our students are individually engaged while they're also working and collaborating with each other.
We accomplished this by using the iWork suite, more specifically the numbers app. We have made workbooks for every concept, for every lesson, and every course that we teach.
Our students use iPads to observe the world, evaluate realities, and harness technology to demonstrate their knowledge, to create works of art, promote change, and envision the future.
The capability of students and the advisors to work together in the same technology ecosystem provides new opportunities for collaboration, for exploration of students' interests. Our portfolio system provides seamless integration and presentation of both the didactic work as well as the experiential learning outcomes.
We've developed a culture of innovation where technology isn't just a tool, but it's a gateway to new ways of learning and creating.
Just using the app frequently, it has infinite space for all and make stuff. Zoom in, zoom out, and easily traverse my mind map study guides.
By incorporating iPads into the classroom and providing ongoing personalized professional development, We've adopted a forward-thinking approach to education that enriches learning experiences and meets each student's unique needs.
And as a student athlete, I know whenever I'm going on trips, I can have just my iPad with all of my notes on it, and I'm better able to keep track of my assignments and my notes and the things I'm working on.
At UVA Wise, we've established an equitable framework ensuring that every student is prepared to face today's global challenges and lead for tomorrow. With iPads. So in fall of 2019, we deployed a program that we call Innovate to Elevate for our students. And it was every student, faculty member, and staff member gets an iPad with a cool little keyboard like I have here and a smart pencil. And we hired an Apple professional learner who was embedded at UVA Wise for 2 years to work with the faculty and staff to really think about how do we use iPads. In spring of 2021, we applied for Apple Distinguished School, and we're named an Apple Distinguished School, which is a 3-year designation. And then you have to reapply again because Apple wants to ensure that you're continuing to innovate and use their products in good ways. So we just announced that we are an Apple Distinguished School again, and that video was part of that. But it's pretty incredible the way faculty and students are using the iPads in the classroom. And for us, the driver was about half of our students weren't bringing any technology to campus. And so this was a way to ensure that everyone had the same technology and could really use it in the classroom. So, so it's pretty exciting.
And the timing on that was immediately prior to COVID. So you had what, a 4-month or 6-month run up, and then COVID hit and you had to move out of the classroom.
That's right. So with COVID, when our students didn't come back from spring break, we knew they had the technology that they could Zoom, they could be in touch. And as a matter of fact, one of our technology people came up to Charlottesville because you had some spare little hotspots because a lot of our students didn't have access to the internet. And then she drove around to houses and dropped off hotspots to make sure that our students could get on the internet and could continue their work. So it really was, I'd like to say I knew what was coming when we did this. I didn't, but it was great timing. Yes, Jeff?
So I'll ask the question that Dr. Long would ask. Did you get any help from UVA in launching this program?
We did get help from UVA, as a matter of fact.
That's good news.
When I was talking about deploying this, I can remember Jim in one of our calls saying, well, what would hold you back from doing it? And I said, well, it's going to have some upfront cost. And he said, well, can we help? So UVA did help us to launch the program. And now it's really become a self-sustaining program. So all students get the iPad. The first day of classes was a lot of fun. Jim was there in fall of 19 when we deployed this. And then if they graduate from UVA Wise, they keep the iPad. So.
Madam Chair, just one quick note. He's going to be very, very angry at me for saying this, but it's the obvious thing that I didn't know anything about UVA Wise until about 10 or 11 years ago. Robert and I were on the board. Donna came along, but the real hero, everybody in this room loves UVA Wise, but the real hero in this room is Marvin and Marcia, his wife Gilliam, who have really put their energy, their love, their time, their commitment, their money into UVA Wise. And Marvin, this board and UVA Wise owes you and Marcia a huge, huge debt of gratitude. Our new members may not have known the role you play, but you have been the man, and she has been the woman behind this whole thing. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, but our biggest accomplishment was we were both on the search committee that got Donna.
I could not agree more heartily with that statement. That's why I said at the beginning, if I need to know something about UVA Wise, Marvin is the man. He knows. Okay, so do you have anything else to add?
I don't.
You do Not, okay, so I will adjourn us for lunch.
Great.
I get
Thank
the
you so
fetish
much.
shot.
Thank you.
Lunch is in the dome room in 15 minutes.
Yeah, and we're adjourned until